FreeMassMedia.com is a local news and entertainment media team. FreeMassMedia.com supports free speech media outlets like Unregular Radio, The THC Show, KOP Productions, and more. Check out FreeMassMedia.com for exclusive videos, interviews, and blogs, and connect with Boston's best indie media outlets. FreeMassMedia.com is an official sponsor of The THC Show on UnregularRadio.com.
You're listening to Two Hotheads on Cannabis on UnregularRadio.com. It's the best high ever.
Back on the THC Show. It's myself, Mike Can, with
Heather Mack. What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're really excited. We have on the phone right now Matt Simon from New Hampshire MPP. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good afternoon. Oh, doing great, man. Always happy to talk politics. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're having a wild show already. I don't know if you can tell yet. Matt, have you heard about what's going on with NORML? Have you read any of that online?
Yeah, I read a little bit something about that this morning. You know, we're about ready to start working on a medical marijuana campaign in New Hampshire that we think is pretty important. So I'm going to stay focused on that and continue to believe that's a worthy project.
Definitely.
I think it's definitely.
All I have to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worthy, and I don't think that NORML would not say it's not worthy. You know, I think that they look at it as worthy. And Allen's own statement, you know, basically said that self-preservation, yes. That means as a medical patient, medical laws help medical patients. That is universal, and especially if you have a program that works. So if that's what you're working towards in New Hampshire, NORML's definitely going to support that. I know that because they want self-preservation for people, you know?
Yeah, we're working on it out in Massachusetts, too. So
yeah,
we have one in 2012 that's going to be on the ballot.
Absolutely.
That's looking really good.
Well, because we're going to be covering that, and I know that's not the reason you called in today, Matt. I just wanted to gauge your thought on it, because you are someone with MPP that has probably witnessed a lot. You know, I mean, there's a lot of infighting that goes on in this community.
Sure, yeah, we try to stay away from that in New Hampshire, and like I said, you know, all the NORML members that I know support medical marijuana. I don't know any of them that would say it's a sham. Certainly there have been excesses, and there have been, frankly, some not great state policies in some states that have led to, you know, a bad image for medical marijuana, and those things can be rightly criticized. We need to try to do it as well as possible, you know, in every state. But, you know, certainly, I mean, there are bills this year in New Hampshire. There's a decrim bill. There'll be a bill to tax and regulate. This will be in the House Committee on Criminal Justice. So, you know, the conversation goes on these other issues, but we're 2 votes away or so from passing medical marijuana in New Hampshire and taking care of the people who really, truly need, you know, marijuana to get through their day. So,
well, let's talk about that. You've worked on that, and I mean, this one of the reasons I'm so excited to have you on the show is because you've done this in New Hampshire. You have done what we cannot do in Massachusetts. You have gotten the governor to have to answer on this subject. So tell us the history of what you've done in New Hampshire, where you are, where you're going. I want to hear it all, and I want our listeners to know what you've been doing.
Oh, sure. Well, 2009 was the big year that we got medical marijuana through the House and the Senate. And the governor said, well, you know, I'll veto if it comes to my desk unless you address these 8 or 10 concerns that I have. And one of them was that he didn't want anybody growing a plant anywhere. He wanted it all to be tightly controlled. So the legislature rewrites the bill, satisfies all of his demands, and we get this bill on his desk, and he still vetoes it.
And this is Governor John Lynch, right?
This is Governor John Lynch.
Democrat.
He's a Democrat. This is his last year in office, and, you know, we're planning to put that bill on his desk again this year, and, you know, he may decide to let it become law this year. He may decide to sign it this year. He may veto it again. If so, we'll try to override it again. But it's an ongoing thing. You know, we've got, obviously, over 70% of New Hampshire people think this should pass, and we've got, last year over half the Republicans in the New Hampshire House voted for the medical marijuana bill. So we've gotten past the partisan deadlock thing. We've got a coalition from libertarian Republicans and just frankly common sense Republicans, in the House that are just over it. They're not going to fight this anymore.
That must
some
be
of them
nice.
are on board with decrim. Some of them are ready to end prohibition outright, but they're, the majority are ready to at least let sick people be taken care of.
That's great. I wish we had that in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, luckily we have the ballot initiative process. Otherwise, no drug reform would be passed at all in Massachusetts. We wouldn't have anything going if not for ballot initiatives. New Hampshire does or does not have that same process. I can't.
Yeah, it's a totally different system.
Okay.
New Hampshire does not have ballot initiatives. We do have the most open and accessible state legislature, I think, in the country. Massachusetts, there are bills filed every year on these subjects, but they never seem to get hearings. There's always some committee chairman or people in party leadership that are able to even keep that from happening. In New Hampshire, every bill gets a public hearing, and every bill gets a vote on the floor.
Well,
Actually,
Matt,
against you,
Matt,
you can go to the floor and overturn it. So, it's a much more open system, and frankly, I think a much better one.
Yeah, in Mass, we have, year after year, we have public hearings. They have public hearings on them in the committee. The problem is they never allow them to come out of the committee. They either kill it and send it to study or they'll vote against it. They won't allow it to come to a vote like they did in New Hampshire. And the fact that you've been able to do this, Matt, people really need to support what you're doing. Tell us what else you're doing at MPP, because you're not just working in New Hampshire, right?
No, I'm actually a legislative analyst, and so I have the responsibility of trying to monitor and track what's happening in, I think, 17 states. All the legislation that's filed, all the ongoing efforts, and just try to maintain communications with people. So, we do try to stay on top of everything that's happening and make sure we know what's going on and try to help things along any way we can. MPP.org is the website.
Excellent. Oh, awesome.
Great.
Tell you also were working with Gary Johnson this year, right?
That's right. Yeah, I took a year off marijuana policy. I worked for Governor Johnson's presidential campaign from actually before it was a campaign. I started in February and worked through October on that.
And what do you think about his announcing to run for Libertarian and the Ron Paul campaign and what is going on out in New Hampshire? Because Carmelita's been up there. We have some friends up there right now doing marijuana activism. What's going on up in New Hampshire in this election?
Well, it's pretty exciting. The Governor Johnson campaign was an experiment that we tried. We thought that for various reasons he'd be the kind of candidate that could potentially catch fire in New Hampshire, and for a variety of reasons that didn't take place. We didn't really have the money, the resources to do a lot of things we wanted to do, and he didn't really have any name recognition at all to start with, so it was an uphill climb, and people may be aware of this, but CNN refused to let him participate in their debate in New Hampshire back in May, and that led to a whole string of debates that he wasn't allowed to participate in. So that kind of hurt the Johnson campaign. I think he did the right thing to announce that he's running as a Libertarian. His New Hampshire staff, including me, we've all endorsed Ron Paul. We think that's the smart vote on Tuesday if you want to send a message about freedom and the direction this country ought to go. And if Dr. Paul doesn't get the nomination, certainly hope that Governor Johnson will have the Libertarian nomination and we'll have somebody to vote for in November, because speaking personally, not on behalf of MPP, but personally, I can't vote for certainly Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney or any of those cats, and I certainly can't vote for President Obama after the way he's treated medical marijuana patients.
I have to agree with you there. It's just it's a difficult problem to realize, what's the viability of the candidates in the grand scheme of things. This is only my second election, and I had my first election in 2008, and I got to vote for decriminalization in Massachusetts and vote for President Obama, and I remember feeling very idealistic and very hopeful, and now it's kind of tough. And I personally, I'm really glad that you were working on the Gary Johnson campaign, because he, for a lot of reasons, was a really excellent candidate, and I might have to agree with you on that one. But this was it was great talking to you, and keep doing everything that you're doing. It's fabulous. We support it all the way.
Yeah. Let's hear it for Matt for working on the Gary Johnson campaign, for all the work in medical marijuana in New Hampshire.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys are great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on the show, Matt, and we'll be talking to you soon. Keep us updated and let us know what's going on in New Hampshire. We wanna always know if there's anything you need. If you need us to get people, and before we let you go, what can people do to help you in New Hampshire right now to get this moving even further?
Well, if people are in New Hampshire and they're listening, they should sign up for the email updates at mpp.org. You can also check out our allies, my former organization, New Hampshire Common Sense. That's nhcommonsense.org. And the home of the medical marijuana campaign is nhcompassion.org. So if you land any of those three places, you can sign up to get the alerts and find out what's going on. We'll have a bill number for medical marijuana bill coming up, and the hearings for decrim going to be February 2nd.
Wow.
So that information will be posted as well.
So are you folks, do you guys also have a presence at all of these rallies and these campaign stops for each of the Republican candidates? And are you guys setting up shop outside those events too, or is that something that we can send people out to do? I mean, that's something that you should do if you have the chance. Go out to New Hampshire. It's where everything's going down right now.
Absolutely. Until Tuesday, it's almost over. But there's still plenty of activity right now, and the candidates are having town halls, several a day. It's easy to get on. Politico.com has a really good calendar that'll tell you where all the events are. And we've had some really great activism just in the last few days from some Students for Sensible Drug Policy activists that came up for a few days and got Newt Gingrich on camera saying something ridiculous about how Washington and Jefferson would have wanted to use violence against anybody growing hemp.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What is this quote?
Yeah, I think there's another one, too, with Mitt Romney that just came live. These things are going viral.
Mitt
I can't even
Romney's never heard of industrial hemp. I've never heard of that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Is that what Mitt Romney said? Yeah, Mitt Romney said that,
what
right?
He said.
Oh, my God.
And they got Santorum, too.
They got Santorum, too. So these are all on YouTube, and this is such a big week of news for our movement. I've been saying this. I've been going crazy, Matt, that we're at a critical mass. I mean, I can't keep up with the news. I'm so, I haven't even posted a Ron Paul video in 4 days. You know what I mean? Mike Ken is behind. I'm just watching this shit now. I don't even post it. It's wow.
Well, welcome to my world, man. I feel totally overwhelmed by news, and I've got a Google alert for each of 17 states to go along with that. So,
yeah.
I'm ready for the New Hampshire primary to be over, so I can take all of these and just try to do my job,
Yeah.
More power to you, man. More power to you.
Thank you, Matt, for calling in, and we'll talk to you real soon. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks.
Have a great rest of your weekend. Wow, that was a good conversation. A lot of good information,
Well, big stuff's happening. We got to keep the people informed, keep them on their toes. And if you can, I mean, now is the time. I mean, if you have, if you're able to go out to New Hampshire, don't wait. It's Tuesday is Judgment Day, but there's always opportunities. This is a great opportunity to get cameras on you and watching and talking about this stuff.
And you're one that takes opportunities, because I've seen you in action. you down there at the Occupy Boston collecting signatures for what? What were you collecting?
I was collecting for medical marijuana, which we got all the signatures we needed, and now it's got to go to the legislature and they got to decide whether to vote it in. But we know from experience that'll never happen. So then it goes back for more signatures in May, and then we pass it in November.
Yeah, and we're gonna have medical marijuana in Massachusetts in
2012.
January.
Yeah.
No, 2013.
Well, 2013.
January 1st, 2013.
So this is a big year.
We vote on it in 2012, though.
It's a big year.
Yeah, this is a huge time. Newman, we got to take a break and come back with some music, and What are we going to listen to?
We got some Freedom from Richie Haven.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is the time. Freedom. This is a good tune. Steve Epstein brought this to us.
Radio Unleashed on regularradio.com.